Woohoo! And we are live. Super excited for tonight. You guys voted. Those of you that are in the virtual wine tasting room Facebook group had the opportunity to vote for today's topic, and it looks like Cab Franc is well, it is in it is in contention with the difference in stemware, and I can do a live about that later. But deep dive into Cab Franc was the winner for tonight's Wine Wednesday Wine About It topic. So I'm gonna take you on a dive into learning a little bit more about Cab Franc, what it pairs with, all of that jazz. Yes, got to get the jazz hands right. So I'm just going to double check, make sure that we are live in the right place. As you tune in, say hello. Of course, you know the drill. Let me know, where are you tuning in from? Let me know, are you drinking any wine? And let's get down to it. So those of you who might be seeing me for the first time, I am Tiara, aka T, the Wine Diva. And a little backstory about Wine Divas. So I have worked in the wine industry for over 5 years now. I have drank a lot of wine, and so I think that is like a huge part of what I do, is taking the knowledge that I've gained in the years of sipping wine, doing different pairings, and taking that and bringing it to you so I can help you feel more comfortable and confident in wine in general, picking out what wines you enjoy, giving you some great recommendations to try, and of course helping you elevate your dining experience by giving you some like perfect pairing ideas. I really think it's super important to kind of like, wine is a great way to just like slow down and get around the table and connect. And I think it's super important, especially now with our families, like maybe being like, all virtual these days. We still for Thanksgiving had the time to like connect via Zoom. I don't know. Let me know. Did you have like any sort of Zoom meetings for your holiday? We did a seafood boil, my boyfriend and I, and it was like the first time I've done one by myself. So I was like super excited about it. Jay made his family's like monkey bread. We did like a cheat recipe, and so we didn't make the dough from scratch, but we did pretty much everything else. Mac and cheese, and I did some veggies that probably had no nutritional value because I baked them and fried them up in some bacon grease. Hallelujah, so good, so yummy, and we paired it with some really amazing wine. But one of the things that was like super awesome when we did our Zoom was that we all like did nice little cheers, and everyone had the wines that they had at home, and we had the time to kind of connect and chat. And I really love that about wine. I feel like it gives us an opportunity to open up, to chat and have a good conversation with one another. We can come to the table and really enjoy one another's like time. And I feel like wine also kind of like helps us like loosen our lips a little bit. So like maybe you don't know the people at the table that well. It gives you a little bit of liquid courage, so you can feel free to like speak your authentic truth, which is awesome. But also it just makes for a really fun-filled time. Hello, Virginia. If you are ever like curious about going live and doing the things, Virginia is actually hosting a live challenge this December, so you definitely want to check that out. I know she just went live about it. Yes, it is. So it's easier to speak when you tap into your wine. Which is a play on words, because Virginia actually has her tagline is, "It's easier to speak when you tap into your truth." But I will say, tapping into your truth with a couple of sips of wine really does help it out. So as you're tuning in, if you notice that there are some friends in the virtual wine tasting room that you have that are not watching with us, like invite them to the party. Mention their name down below, bring them in, because we're going to get into this Cab Franc awesomeness. I'm new to the group. How do I partake in these Zooms? So that particular Zoom was just like a family affair, but we do have monthly events. All of the events are open to our wine club members. So if you are a wine club member, and I can actually drop my link tree link, which will get you access to all the things. I have like how to like subscribe to my podcast, my YouTube channel, the wine club, and just like if you just want to straight up shop for wine. So our next Zoom meeting, Zoom party is going to be a virtual cheese board class, which is going to be not this upcoming Sunday, but the Sunday after, which is the 13th. How you can be a part of that and how you can participate is either being a wine club member or purchasing 3 bottles of wine. It doesn't matter what wine you purchase. It's just got to be 3 bottles of wine. You can, again, shop the link or go to winedivatiara.com. And I do recommend getting some bubbly just because it's the holidays and we're going to have a little bit of a bubbly focus during this cheese board class. We're going to talk about pairings. We're going to talk about ways to cut. We're talking about sourcing the cheese to make this beautiful charcuterie board. I did a post about it earlier on in the week, so you can see all of that. Virginia, thank you for tagging our friends and inviting them in. But yes. Also, if you are watching this, I can sometimes see just Facebook users. So make sure that you give StreamYard permission to see who you are, and all of that thing, all of that jazz. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't think I introduced myself. Did I introduce myself? If I did, cool. If not, whatever, I'll do it again. For those, because I see new people hopping on. I'm super excited to see new faces. So I'm Tiara, aka T, the wine diva. I think I have said this today, but this is also like my 3rd or 4th life. I don't know. But yeah, so been in the industry 5 years. I've drank a lot of wine and I'm here to help you too. All right. So who else? Valerie says she wants some info too. All of that good stuff is in another post, but I'll drop it before. Just know, be a wine club member or purchase 3 bottles of wine and that'll get you into our events. I'm also thinking that like typically we used to do a Wine Wednesday happy hour, but like numbers are dwindling. I know it's the holiday season. We all got things that we got going on and that we're doing. So I'm thinking that moving forward, because I know I'm busy too, honey. Like, let's be real. It's not just about you. It's about me too. Moving forward, I'll probably just do a live and teach you something on a weekly basis, but like maybe one Wednesday out of the month, we can do just like a BYOB Zoom call and talk about something specifically related to wine. Or I'm thinking this month we might do like a little bit of like quirky crafts or something on a Zoom. So if that sounds fun for you, let me know. And now we can really get into the like all the announcements aside, we can get into Cabernet Franc. So let me know, have you tried Cabernet Franc? What are your feelings about it? What do you know about it? And I'm going to like get into the goods. But first, I'm going to actually drink some wine. Yes, yes. Hello, Jackie. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So Cab Franc. First things first, Cab Franc's a red wine, if you're not familiar. It is a delicious red wine. I am truly a fan. I will be honest, the first time I tried Cab Franc, I was like, this is bitter. This is like not my jam. But I do think that, especially if you're someone that might be newer to wine, the more you drink wine, like my like number one phrase, and I'm sure if you've been following me for a while, you've heard this before, but it's like the way to get into wine is to drink more wine. The best way to learn about wine is to drink more wine. The way you like train your palate, the way you get used to like listing characters that you're tasting and really pinpointing different things is to actually just practice doing it. That's right, friends. Drink a lot of wine. I had curse words coming in my brain, but like my mouth didn't want to say it. I feel like maybe there might be children listening. So, you know, this is your warning later on because I've already taken a sip of wine. So cursing may happen. Hide your kids, put your headphones in. This is your disclaimer here. From now on, I'm allowed to curse. So yes. All right. So Cab Franc, little fun fact. Are you familiar with Cabernet Sauvignon? I'm sure a lot of you are. Cab Sav is what people like to call it for short. So Cab Franc is actually like a parent grape to both Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. So in making varietals or grapes, they're just varietals, just another word. Hide your kids. Yes, that's right. That is right. Hold on, Jackie. See, I have to check on my phone because I just see Facebook user on my thing. Jessica is live from Virginia. What's up, girl? Okay. Jessica, I know you got like 87 children, so hide them if you don't want them to hear me curse. Girlfriend. So, as I was saying, It is the father, mother, I don't know which parent it is, but it is a parent to Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. And then, so basically what they do, they'll like take branches and like kind of like tie them together and like plant it. And it kind of creates like this hybrid grape, which has different notes, and it has like kind of like similar notes to its original. And then eventually it'll create its own seeds. And then you can plant those seeds and have a whole bunch of like Cabernet Sauvignon. So that's kind of like a short version of how Cabernet Sauvignon is made, but Cab Franc is what we're talking about tonight. And so if you're not familiar with the flavor profile of Cab Franc, it depends on where you're getting the wine from is what it's going to taste like. And this is actually kind of generally speaking from in wine in general. I mean, for the whole part, let's be real, depending on where the grapes are harvested, that is going to change the taste of the wine. If it is what we like to call old world, or like thinking Europe, places where, you know, people were like living in civilization in the 1700s, or let's back it up even further, because like, you know, Columbus sailed the ocean blue in what, 1492? Is that what the rule is? So like backing it up, when they had full on civilization in like the 1400s, they were a well established civilization. So like Spain, France, England, that is old world. Now, when we say new world, we're talking about places that like built up later on. So the United States, Australia, New Zealand. So those are newer world wine regions, right? And so newer world tends to have a little bit of like a brighter, fruitier flavor profile. And old world has a little bit more like earthy, grounded flavor profile. Okay. So in thinking about that, if you're getting a Cab Franc from France, which is, so there's like three main regions that Cab Franc grows. So it's France, it is California, and Italy. So France, we know like Bordeaux, right? Yeah, drink more wine. I'm back, Virginia says. Bordeaux, super, super popular for red wine, especially Cab Franc. So Cab Franc is actually a Bordeaux style wine. So in order to have what we call a Bordeaux is actually just a blend. And then there are 5 noble grape varietals that can be a part of a Bordeaux. And I can't rattle all 5 off the top of my head right now, but just know that Cab Franc is one of those 5 noble grapes, right? So it is very prevalent in France. And when you are getting a French Cab Franc, you can expect some earthy notes. You can expect some like spiciness, some like bell pepper kind of notes to present itself. Now, if you're like getting one that's from California, it's got a warmer climate. The roots aren't quite as deep as they are in France. You're not going to find, you know, hundreds year old vines here, because we're a newer place. We're newer vineyards. So they're not quite as deep. And so they're going to a completely different climate. So if it's warmer, you're going to have more tropical, more fruitiness kind of presenting itself in those grapes. So Lodi has more strawberry berry notes in their Cab Franc. And then like Italy, same idea, different climate. It's also more old world. So that they're going to have more of like a leathery vanilla kind of flavor to it. Okay. Does that make sense? Does that resonate? So that's how you can kind of like play around with, I think it's super fun to play around with regions. So maybe if you have the opportunity to go into like a wine shop near you, you can say, hey, I'm going to have like a little Cab Franc tasting tonight. Mr. Wine consultant, wine rep person that's working here, point me to like French, an American, and an Italian, like Cab Franc. What do you have, or what regions do you have of Cab Franc? And they can pull out what they have available, and then you can go home, chill it a little bit, and then give it a little tasty too, and see like how they differ. Write some notes down, do it with some friends, or do like, if you know, whatever. If you have whoever's in your bubble, you can do it in person, or you know, get on Zoom and you guys can like chit chat it out. Maybe one person has one from somewhere else and one person has one from somewhere else, and you're just talking about it. I think it's super important to like talk. in general. Like we need to talk. We need to just speak and say the things. I actually added a fifth S to like my wine tasting technique. If you have never seen me do wine tasting, I talk about the 4 S's of wine, which is seeing the wine, taking note of the color, the clarity, how opaque is it or translucent. You want to swirl it so you can volatilize the esters, open it up a little bit, get those true notes. You want to smell it. You want to say like, what do you smell? And then you want to sip it because we got to taste it, right, honey? And then I want to say, speak. What do you smell? What do you taste? Get used to saying these things. It really helps like with your cognitive dissonance. It really helps with like working that brain, getting your focus in. I feel like it is like another level of like meditation to like slow down, take some deep breaths, breathe in that wine, put your nose all up in that glass, breathe it all in, and then like be able to say, this is what I smell, and then like take a sip and this is what I taste, and feeling comfortable and confident and being able to do that. And it comes with practice to be able to pinpoint all of those different things and different notes. And if you like take time to like smell your fruits and your vegetables before you're eating and doing that kind of stuff, slowing down and really like making an experience of it, fire. So good. And I just think it's like, it's so good in just life in general to just slow down, enjoy, stop and smell the roses, stop and smell the vino, and have a good time. Virginia says she loves the slow down. All right. So some popular notes that you might notice in a Cab Franc that you're tasting. We've got herbal notes like green pepper, dried herbs, green beans, chili pepper, black pepper, jalapeno. So we got spicy notes, like the herbaceous, spicy kind of things. And then if you're getting it, like if it's been oaked, you might get some like Coca-Cola, some tobacco, some coffee, cacao. You might even get a little minerality or like some wet gravel in there. You might get some like dark fruit, black currant, blackberry, black cherry. I believe that's Cheryl that's saying hi. Hello, Auntie Cheryl. How are you, love bug? And you might get some like brighter red fruits like strawberries, sour cherries, red plum, or raspberry. What else? I'm like looking at my notes and making sure I have all of the things. Some common styles you will get, or like common ways that you will find your Cab Franc when you're looking at it. And that is going to be, it's used, like I said earlier, in Bordeaux blends. It's actually because of its weightiness and it's like earthy, like it's got a lot of structure. It's got a lot of body to it. It is a pretty deep red wine. I feel like when I think of red, so it's like Pinot Noir is like the lightest, right? And then we've got Merlot, which is a little bit like it's heavier than Pinot Noir, but it's still got like some fruity notes and it can be lighter. And then you got Cab Sauv, which is like darker, getting bolder. You want to have it with your steak. It's perfect for winter time. And then you got Cab Franc, which I think is even bolder than your Cabernet Sauvignon. So Cab Franc, great when you're blending it to add some structure, add some tannin, add some body to that wine, whatever blend you have. Yes, red wines in winter. That is right, Cheryl. I mean, it was like almost 80 today here in Southern California, but it's okay. It's still red wine weather. It's a red wine month, right? And I think it's great. Red wine goes great with Christmas and the holidays and just drinking in general. So boom. And then another style you can find with your Cabernet Franc is going to be like a zesty and savory style. And it is going to have like those pepper notes that I mentioned. You might find some more raspberry. It's got like just like a tanginess to it, a little sour kind of peppery sour kind of flavor. All right. And then this is probably going to be more from your California, from your warmer climate Cab Francs, and that is going to be a sweet and savory style. And so it's going to be more fruit forward. You're going to have more berries in it, like the strawberries, like the blackberries, and you might see a little like cedar and vanilla kind of notes. Yes. Wine does make great gifts for the holiday, Cheryl. That is so true, girl. Honey. I mean, if you're looking for some holiday gifts, I got you, boo. And Cheryl's like, we had snow. Cheryl's in New York. I'm not surprised that you had snow. So this is a perfect time to like get next to the fire, get a glass of Cabernet, Sauvignon or Franc, or, you know, a blend, and have a good time. Speaking of blends and Cab Francs and all that, I want to share with you the two that are actually on our current wine list that we have available. So first, I'm going to go over our 100% Cab Franc, and that is our Dusk Evening Star. Super awesome, super delicious. It was a like limited release earlier this year, I do believe. I think it was limited release. I might be making things up. Someone who's been in the biz for a little bit, like let me know if that's correct, if you remember. But so it came out a little bit earlier in the year, but we're actually going to be releasing it in our December wine club. So if you are a wine club member, not only do you get to come to our events, our cheese board class on the 13th, and then we're going to be making, I think it's beef Wellington, honey. We're going to be making beef Wellington for our holiday cooking class. So we do a cooking class every month for wine club members. That's just wine club members only. And then we also do one other class. Usually it's either cocktails or cheese board, depending on the month. And so this month is a cheese board. So all that to say, not only do you get added to these events as a wine club member, but you'll actually get to taste a Cab Franc. And one of the reasons why I made Cab Franc the option for this week is that Friday is National Cab Franc Day. So it wasn't just like an arbitrary pick a varietal thing, like let me open my wine book and like whatever it lands on, which is a good idea to pick things out, but it actually happened to be National Cab Franc Day is coming up. I think it's Friday. I want to say it's Friday. It might be Saturday. Don't quote me on that. But yes, so we've got the Dusk Evening Star, which is 100% Cab Franc from Lodi, California. So Lodi, California, we talked about earlier, California has that warmer climate. So it's going to present more fruity notes and fruit forwardness. I know when I tried this before, I was like, yes, this is what I want. It's like, it's got structure, it's got some fruity notes, and I love it. And I'm super excited. I think I said it earlier. I wasn't a fan of Cab Franc before, but I'm pretty sure it was like a French style, which I wasn't at the time used to earthiness in my glass. I was just like, And I mean, I still feel like the word earthy just sounds weird. But I don't have a better way to describe it. Like, it's just, it's like, I mean, like, without saying I'm drinking dirt, like, I don't have a better way to describe it. But it's just got this, like, this grassy kind of, I don't know, earth. There you go. That's what it is. It's just nature. It, like, feels, like, closer to nature when you're having something that's, like, old world. And I'm pretty sure it was either, like, Virginia grapes tend to have a more, earthy style. Like it tends to lend itself towards old world style than new world. So like people, I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm originally from Virginia. And so like we'll talk to people and we're like, yeah, Virginia just tastes a little bit different than like California. And that's just because, and I feel like Oregon and Washington also kind of have the similar thing where it kind of mimics the terroir, which is like the land of and climate of France. So it's going to have those kind of things. Yes, Virginia says we are Virginians. That we are. So like all that to say is I know myself, and I know that I like my jamminess, my fruitiness, and my wine more often if I'm just like sipping and drinking. Now, if I'm pairing, I am totally down for like the earthiness to go with like some beef and some other stuff going on. Like stroganoff is what's coming into my mind right now. I'm just like thinking of like yummy, like beefy, comfy, cozy, like cuddle up kind of foods right now, which is great for Cab Franc. But this one, like I said, Lodi, so it's going to have those like very fruity notes. You're going to be able to get some spiciness, some meaty, some earthy out of it as well. Cranberry, 14.5% alcohol, so you can get some drunkenness out of it too. Yay! If you finish the whole bottle, which I'm pretty sure I've done that before. And I will say, and I've gotten so many texts from people over the course of like my career doing this, where people are like, you know, I drank that whole bottle last night and I feel fine. I feel good. Like I was expecting to be like shitty and like hungover, but I feel amazing. And I'm like, you're welcome. That is what good quality wine does for you. The dangers of the job, I tell you. So small bites that it would pair with is brie, pate on toast, grilled veggie wraps, so for our vegetarian friends. And then the pairing recipe that comes with this wine, if you're not familiar with, like, if you've never shopped with us, all of our wines come with this nice little card. Actually, the cards have been updated, so it doesn't look exactly like this anymore, and I don't have a updated card in front of me anymore, but it comes with a little card. It'll have a picture of the bottle, some little like tidbits and stuff on the wine, and then a recipe on the back that will pair really well. So another veggie, Virginia's like veggie girl here. So this recipe is for you. Black bean quinoa burgers would pair really well with this Cab Franc. So yes. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a Cab Franc blend. So I said before, oftentimes you don't really see Cab Franc by itself. It's not really usually presented as a solo wine. It's actually typically presented as a blend. It's a part of Bordeaux blends, that kind of thing. So we have an amazing Bordeaux style that is a blend of Cab Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon. There's actually more Cab Sav than the Cab Franc, but it is Fab Tab, and that is our Deluge Storm. And there's even like kind of like a storm going on the label, which I think is fine. But it's, you can always tell that like the way our wines and like the labels work, I feel like it's just like, it's the more classic kind of looking the label is, the more refined and like upper echelon the wine is going to be. So we've got like the Dusk, which is in like the 20s, and then we have the Deluge, which is closer to the 50 price point. But again, it's Bordeaux style. Bordeaux is known to be in that like $40-$50 price point range. It is a California appellation, so different varietals, grapes harvested from different regions. 14% alcohol. You can age it for like 7 years. So aging potential also kind of really elevates that price point when you are shopping for wine. So when I've gotten people asking me, well, what makes a like $30 bottle of wine versus like a $60 bottle of wine? And the things that go into it is like, well, what was the time that it took to go into it? Was it handcrafted versus like machine crafted? Was it aged in any sort of special way, fermented in any sort of special way? What kind of like bottling process might it have gone through? What is its aging potential? What is the varietal of that wine? There are a lot of different little factors that come into what is the supply and demand for that particular varietal. Like, can people like give it more, you know, like Merlot, for example, a lot of people have like their own like little feelings about Merlot because of the movie Sideways. I've gone through my old tangent about this before. I've never watched the movie, but I know that like they say something about Merlot, and all of a sudden like stock of Merlot just dropped. And I think that's part of why I won't watch the movie, because I like Merlot, and I think it's rude that they just like messed up the Merlot flow. My little diatribe. There you go. There's my soapbox on that. But, you know, it's cheaper than like Sauvignon Blanc, right? So, or not Sauvignon, well, Sauvignon Blanc too, but like it is cheaper than Cabernet Sauvignon just because of these kind of things, as well as aging potential, all of the other things that go into it, right? So the Deluge, high-end luxury, one of our higher-end luxury wines. It is blended with Cabernet Sauvignon and Cab Franc. It also recommended to be decanted. Yes. We'll have the blackberry, blueberry, blackcurrant notes. It is got a very long paragraph that I am like trying to pinpoint things out of. And so there it is. It is also paired with rack of lamb, roasted pork, grilled New York strip steak. Yes. I know that like Virginia's a veggie, but I am like all about the meat, honey. So like, give me the steak. I want the steak. Who wants the steak? Anybody else want the steak? So the pairing recipe here is a pan-seared steak. Yes, queen. Yes. And then I like it
sometimes the cards have little tidbits on it, so I'm going to read that one to you. So weather is the main cause of Bordeaux varietal vintage variation, and in higher elevations like Spring Mountain, you will see even more variation caused by weather. So that's all saying like basically every year, which if you've ever noticed that there are wines, so this right here is a 2018, so it's a vintage, right? It is a vintage wine versus, I'm pretty sure this is, nope, this is a vintage too. This is like a 2017. So you see that there are like actual numbers on the bottles. So when you don't see numbers, that typically means that the grapes were harvested from different years and blended together to create this wine. Now, when you do see a year on the bottle, then that means that all the grapes were harvested in that particular year. And that also will play into like price point and stuff of a wine, because maybe a year was like super amazing. Like they had the best amount of rain, they had the best amount of sunlight, they had the best of the best. And so all of the freaking vines had a party and like made the most delicious wine ever, and they can like up that price a little bit. But then maybe there's a year that there's either like way too much rain, or the rain came just before harvesting, and so that like so this is like the scariest thing is like, I guess, rain during harvest season, because it can actually put mold on the grapes and then like hurt a lot of the crop, right? So like if the grapes aren't ready to be plucked yet, oh, scary times, right? So like, you know, what if rain comes right at like that perfect time where it's like too early to harvest the grapes, but like, and so they still need time on the vine, but now they're being molded because of the rain at the wrong time, or whatever is going on, right? So that year we know that like, okay, it's not going to taste quite as good. So that year might not be a better price point, right? So all of these things kind of go into that. So that little tidbit was basically talking about, based off of like the border region of France, weather has an even bigger impact on the wine, because it can be that much more tumultuous and like unpredictable. Yeah. Yes. So let me know if you have any like Cab Franc questions or wine questions in general. Jackie is saying she is seriously loving this knowledge. I am so glad. I can get like cork dorky. Like I used to think, I'm like, oh, I'm not a cork dork. I don't know, and I'm not SOM certified. I probably could be if I really wanted to be, but I just feel like it would take the fun out of wine for me. Like I don't need another like degree or anything to hang on my wall. So I'm fine as I am, so I won't do it. Maybe down the line, just for shits and giggles, who knows? But I've really just learned by drinking and like talking to other people who really enjoy wine. And over the years, because of that, and I have like one of my best friends, she's actually a certified sommelier, and you've seen her in a lot of my videos. And she actually leads a lot of our in-person events, or not, well, in person, but like our virtual events, because she is our sommelier. She's also our resident chef. So she leads our, she's just so knowledgeable. I love it. Kay, if you're watching, love you. But yes, so she, we just sit and talk about wine, and that's how I feel like I've gotten way better about it and more confident in my wine, is just like sitting and talking with people who enjoy wine about it, and like not feeling like judged. And I think that's really important, is being able to be around people that aren't going to judge you and be happy. Like, you know, this is, because let's be real, there's no right or wrong answer to like what you taste. If you're sipping something and you're like, oh my gosh, this reminds me, someone I've worked with before, this reminds me of like kissing a girl with strawberry lip smackers on. And it's a guy that was saying this, not that it matters whether it's a guy or a girl, but it was a guy that was saying this, and he was like, that's what it reminds me of. And so like, who can say no, that you never kissed someone with strawberry lip smackers on? You don't know what that tastes like. No one can argue that with you, right? So it's all, was the word objective? Yeah, it's all objective. It is all up to you. So like, what have you tasted? What are your experiences? And you can share how you taste the wine. Yeah, that's my other random soapbox for this evening. All right, so Tiara, when you see, as long as your member is, wait, hold on. Let me try to read it from. So Valerie, when you see as long as your member, is that under tasting room? I'm not sure what that question means, Valerie. Can you rephrase it? Or are you saying when I say wine club member, does that mean you're a member of my Facebook group? I think that's what the question means. If so, that is not what I mean. Wine club, the virtual wine tasting room Facebook group, it's free community. Anybody can be in here. You can hang out. I'm posting, I'll go live. I do all that. You can get all the free content you want. Now, if you want to attend any of our virtual events, unless otherwise stated as like a free event, you have to be a wine club member, which wine club is, you get 4 bottles of wine every single month. It is whatever our releases for that month will be. It averages, depending on where you live, like tax changes, tax fluctuates for whatever reason. Different states have different rules, and even different localities have different tax rates or whatever. But it's around like $94 a month, and it also includes 4 bottles of wine, so that's like $23 a bottle, and that includes the tax and the shipping. So $23 a bottle to be shipped to your home. That's super easy, super great price for artisan handcrafted wines. Gotta say, love it. And it's a great way to just try new wine. So if you want to be a part of that, I dropped the link earlier. I'll drop it again, my link tree, and you can just sign up. I think it should say like wine club as one of the options to do that. And now if you want to just be a part of the, just want to do a one-off for our events. So if you just want to join the virtual cheese board class, then you just have to purchase 3 bottles. So you can go to winedivatier.com and just shop, pick whatever 3 bottles sound delicious to you. We have, if you're not at all certain, there should be a little button that says Vino type quiz. And then you can take a Vino type quiz, and it'll tell you, are you sweet? Do you like sweeter? Are you like a tolerant Vino type? Are you a smooth? Are you hypersensitive? Meaning like you like all the things. What are you most likely to be geared towards? And it should also give you a list of whatever is our current availability for your particular Vino type, and then you can pick out wines from that. I just not to Justin. He's playing videos while I'm live. Don't do that. Thanks. Who was that? Valerie says, oh my God, that's so much better than what I'm doing now. Yes, right? $23 a bottle. You can't beat that. And oftentimes a lot of the wines that you'll get are in that $30 price point. So it's pretty freaking awesome. Do the monthly wines include imports? So it's whatever our winemaker is making, and he is, man, if he wasn't already married. I'm just kidding. I love Alex. He's amazing. He's actually born in Bordeaux, France. He has an amazing friggin' accent. One of the wines that are actually coming out this month, for those who've been with me for a while, Snickerdoodle. If you are a sweet white wine fan, Snickerdoodle is back. Get on it before it's gone. But he's Snickerdoodle. And it's amazing. And I'm just speak to me. Say American words in French, please. But it depends on what he likes to really source juice from, places that are doing really well, places that are sustainably growing. So we have partnerships with vineyards in France. We've worked with New Zealand. We've worked with South Africa. We've worked with Spain and La Mancha. A lot of different regions. Lately, it's been a lot more California, I think partly because of COVID, but and then, weather and whatever's going on. So where can we source that's sustainable, high quality, and available, right? So whatever that Alex can come up with, we don't really know what's going to come up until the first of the month. But yeah, so there are imports. It's just not regularly regulated, if that makes sense. So, I'm pretty sure, I forgot what our last import was from our Pinot Noir. It's from Pays d'Arc. I don't know if I ever say that right. France. And that's phenomenal. So yummy. Yes. Jackie says, my husband and I have been comparing imports with domestics to educate ourselves on the differences. Yes. I love that. That is amazing. Yes. Yes. There's, terroir makes for so many like just like nuanced differences in wine. And, you know, I think there's some times where we might try one or two of like a particular varietal and we say, I don't like it. But without knowing whether like, was it all, did you try the same terroir? Have you tried like all the different regions? Have you tried different like alcohol levels? Because maybe you like sweeter. So if you like sweeter, look for something that has a little less alcohol in it. If you like it drier, then like look for a higher alcohol level. So these are different things that really can help you just kind of pinpoint what you like. But at the end of the day, like, you know, if you find something in your price point that you're good with, if you have someone reliable that you can talk to, that you're like, you can share, hey, this is what I typically drink. What's comparable, or what do you think is something like completely different that I can try? And I don't know if she's on here watching, but my friend Stacy is so good about this. Like, just like, hey, I know I want these wines, but like pick something you think I would like, and go from there. And I love doing that. I think that like on one hand, it's like, ooh, pressure. But on the other hand, it's like, I've been doing this for a while. I know I've pretty sure I've tasted almost every single bottle of wine on our current wine list, minus the things that have just been released this month. So I have a pretty good understanding of what it's going to taste like. And if you tell me what you like, I can probably compare it and figure it out for you. And if not, we can have a discussion about that after the fact, right? And there's always wine cocktails and cooking with wine as well. If there's something that like comes in your wine club that you're not in love with, or, you know, it's the holiday season. If you know that you don't like sweet wine, and you see we have these beautiful sweetometers on, I don't know if you can really see it, sweetometer on the bottle. And so that you can see a little, there's like a purple little hash mark, and it says it's like super, super sweet. So like, if you can look at the bottle and you're like, I don't drink sweet, I don't think I'm going to like it, you can always just like give it to a friend, you know, or, you know, family member, or if you're local, we can have a chit chat offline. All right. So if I don't have any other questions, I am going to like finish my glass of wine and yeah, chat with you guys later. I'll come back into the comments and show some love. All right. Yay. Oh, yay, Jackie. I'm excited. Wonderful. If you have any questions, I'm here. I got you, boo. Drop it in the comments or shoot me a text message or Facebook message. And there you go. Love you lots. Cheers. Thank you.